Life is simple. Do stuff that makes you happy. And if you are happy, then continue to do those things. Like, life is too short to do shit you hate. You are one single connection, one single opportunity away from changing your life. We put so much pressure on 17, 18-year-olds to make one decision that shapes their whole life or is supposed to shape their whole life. And that's completely ridiculous. Yeah, I don't think you ignore it. Ignoring anything doesn't help. If you're intrinsically motivated and you can learn on your own, then you don't need college. It was the first time I wasn't chasing money. I'm not gonna try to be the Elons and Bezos and even like Gary V's of the world. That's not me. I'm myself, and I really want to be looked at as someone who obviously leads with kindness, but also pushes humanity forward.
And he's doing the work required already, I'll tell you that. Being just 21 years old, today's guest has got into entrepreneurship in his junior year of high school at 17 years old. From cryptocurrency to dropshipping and real estate, Sam has tried any possible way of making money online. Right now, he owns an editing company called Blank Slate Media and is the host of the show Starting Blank. Sam is a very cool and purpose-driven guy, and we discussed how to find the thing that you love doing, why you shouldn't center your whole life around one thing only, and how the whole traditional education system is pretty much broken. We debated on solopreneurship versus being a business owner, how him starting a gratitude journal has changed his life, and also we discussed his take on immortality and how that would change things for humans, and basically how having unlimited time would affect one's reality. And much more than that, guys, but I will leave you to it, and I'll leave you to discover things for yourself. So with that said, ladies and gentlemen, Sam Lister. You are listening to The Grateful Show with your hosts Pascu
and Bogdan. Join us on our mission to spread awareness around mental health and make people feel happier and overall more grateful.
Each week, we bring you an inspiring guest, stories, and a message that will help you become your best self and pursue your life mission.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to The Grateful Show. Hope you are doing fantastic, and if you are not, you're about to be because today we have no one other than Sam Lister. How is it going, man?
Thanks for having me on. Super excited to be here. Going well.
Our pleasure, honestly. We're just gonna break the ice, and I'm gonna ask you, what are you grateful for today?
I'm grateful for waking up, and that's it. Life is super precious. Life is valuable. So if you're listening, if you're watching, if you woke up this morning, be grateful about that, because life is fragile, and a lot of people don't. A lot of people take that for granted. So again, if you woke up today, be grateful for that.
Definitely. I think a lot of people don't even realize that in itself is a blessing. Because as much as we want to strive for more and we want to accomplish and like do big things, we tend to neglect the fact that without waking up in the morning, we can't really do anything.
Exactly.
But Sam, obviously, we spoke before, and I know your story more or less. But for our audience to get a better understanding, can you give us 3 to 4 minutes brief introduction into who you are and how you came to be where you are?
Yeah, absolutely. So right now I'm 21. I have a company called Blank Slate, and we do a ton of video editing online. So creating a ton of video content for social media, but didn't start there. So I really got into entrepreneurship my junior year of high school here in the States when I was like 17 years old. So a connection of mine came into one of my business classes, and he was just talking about startup ideas and entrepreneurship. And I was, from that moment on, I was super intrigued with starting my own business and entrepreneurship in general and startup ecosystem. So I made that connection. And then long story short, he connected me with a bunch of other connections from my hometown. And throughout that year, from like 17 years old to 18 years old, I was just focused on connecting with other people, other entrepreneurs to learn what they were doing. I was testing out a ton of different ventures myself, from real estate to cryptocurrency to Forex to drop shipping and really anything in between. So any way to make money online, I was trying it. But I was documenting that journey through video. I was just telling people what I was trying to do, what coins I was investing in, what my like drop shipping stuff was, what that site was. And I was just simply creating videos telling people what I was doing. But then in August of 2018, I hopped onto LinkedIn, out of all places, to create videos. And then people started asking me if I could create videos for them. So long story short, I said yes to all those opportunities, and then launched my own video production company in late 2018, all just powered by an iPhone and iMovie. And then I just gradually invested into more and more camera gear going forward. All of 2019 and early 2020 was spent creating pretty much a video production company from scratch. I never touched a camera before starting a video company. So again, everything started with an iPhone and progressed from there. But then once COVID hit, I knew a lot of in-person shooting, a lot of traveling was going to get shut down. So I've flirted with the idea of launching my own editing company in the past, but I just really haven't been able to put all the pieces in place to run it and scale it sustainable. There's just a lot of moving parts, a lot of headaches. So I just didn't do it. So when COVID hit, I thought that was going to be the perfect opportunity to go and venture off into that space. So that's exactly what I did. Starting in pretty much 12 months ago, in April of 2020, I launched the editing division, and that's all we're doing right now from a Blank Slate standpoint. And it's just been a crazy past 12 months, learning, testing, failing, iterating, and repeating that process. So that's really where we are now.
What a roller coaster.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just wondering, why do you think that from all those things that you have started, you said that you have started real estate stuff and also Bitcoin, and why do you think that this thing with the media agency, from all of them, actually just like hit the ground, like you did it with this and not with something else?
It was the first time I wasn't chasing money. I really liked video. I never created videos before jumping into the scene, but I knew it was super important, and I loved the storytelling aspect of it, and I loved being able to connect with other people through video and helping other people share their stories. So it was for the first time I wasn't chasing money. Again, at the end of the day, you need to eat, you need to put a roof over your head in some capacity. So before, I was just trying to chase money and figure out any way to pay rent and put food on the table. So once video started clicking and I got my first opportunity there of people paying me to do video, which really happened instantly. I didn't do any free work to start off to get into the space. It was just super natural of, hey, like, can you do this for me? I'll pay you X. And I'm like, yes, absolutely. That'll cover the next 4 or 5 months worth of expenses and stuff. So that's what we did. So, it was just perfect timing of me going all in on one thing for the first time in my life, and it happened to stick.
Definitely. And I want for our audience, I think this would be very valuable for them to clearly understand, and I guess get a clear picture of is. You mentioned you were 17 when you got introduced to this guy that basically has opened a whole lot more connections for you in the business area. But how come you, as a guy at 17, was so open-minded and passionate about actually getting to know more entrepreneurs and getting to understand different ventures such as real estate, Bitcoin? Because like guys your age, 17, when I was 17, I used to like binge on video games, and everything I would do was just play video games, and I would never think about entrepreneurship or like starting my own business.
Yeah, I was just curious. I was just naturally curious I've always loved making money. I've always loved the process of making money, not money itself. But I've just loved doing something that I love to do and get paid for it. So I started off cutting grass, and I love that. I love cutting grass. I love being out out on a nice hot summer day when I was growing up. Started cutting grass like, I don't know, like 10 years old or something, 10 to 14, 15, 16, whatever that was. And then my first job was a pizza cook. Fucking loved that at a just local like pizza restaurant, sports complex type thing. I played baseball growing up, so I got the job at the baseball fields in summer, and then I snowboarded a ton in winter. So I got a job at the snow park in winter, and that was my life from 14 to 18. So I was always doing something I loved. I never hated a job. I worked ridiculous, stupid long hours in high school, but I loved every second of it because it didn't feel like work to me. So that was a supernatural progression of why I got into entrepreneurship, because I'm just naturally curious. I love just testing things, seeing what works, seeing what doesn't, and I just love building and creating. So entrepreneurship came super naturally to me. And that's, I think, why I really dug into it of, hey, what if I could do this, this, and this at a young age? And I knew time was the most important aspect of my life because I had a lot of it. And I still do. I'm still fairly young at 21. But I knew that's the one thing we don't get back. We have all of our lives to make money and everything. But I knew the time I would never get back. So I'm like, I'll start now. I'll start testing. And I really went down that path of my work and career. And we can definitely dive into that more with the pros and cons of that. But I was just naturally curious.
Yeah, awesome. Amazing. I'm just curious, what would you say to someone who is currently 17? What piece of advice would you tell him, like not necessarily related to business, like whatever goes through your mind?
Go for it. Literally whatever you want to do it. Because tomorrow isn't guaranteed for anyone. Don't think that, oh, I have 80 more years to play with if I'm going to live to 100 years old. Everything could end tomorrow. Everything could end this hour. You never know. So if you're naturally curious about anything, if you want to do something, just do it. And I think that's it. Life is simple. Do stuff that makes you happy. And if you are happy, then continue to do those things. Like, life is too short to do shit you hate. So do whatever makes you happy.
And what if like somebody, or like there are, I mean, lots of people that don't currently know what makes them happy? I mean, how are you supposed to do something that makes you happy when you don't know what makes you happy?
See, I think everyone knows something that makes them happy. I think it's crazy to say that people don't have anything that makes them happy. Maybe you love sitting and doing nothing and just letting your thoughts run. Maybe you like going on a walk in nature. Maybe you love skiing or snowboarding. Maybe you love knitting or basketball. There's so many different things. And I'm not saying you need to pick one thing and I absolutely love video, so I'm going to dedicate my whole life to video. No, I was just curious. I wanted to try and test different things. So I think that's more it than anything else. It doesn't mean you need to pick your passion or have your perfect life all figured out. I'm just telling people, be curious, just try more things, test new things, talk to more people, and just that natural curiosity will lead you so far. And if you're happy along the process, like, keep on doing that. Or think back to a time when you were happy. Where were you? What were you doing? Who were you around? And recreate those situations. That's what it comes down to, I think.
You touched upon the fact that you don't necessarily have to like find this one passion and make your whole entire life spin around it, and I think that's very, very good to touch upon furthermore, because as much as I know you are aware of the current medium when it comes to education, this is what the traditional education has basically taught generation after generation to do. Basically, at 19 or 20, have to pick one thing, and more or less that one thing is going to dictate the rest of your life. And it's very, very rarely the case that one person, after they chose that thing and 3-4 years went by and they've realized that it's not really clicking with them anymore, it's very rarely the case that they went and did something completely different, like quit a job, changed careers. That didn't really happen, and that led to people becoming, I guess, not necessarily becoming, but living with more regret. And I think it would be very interesting to get your opinion on this, and with the fact that the millennials and Gen Z especially are not as the past generations used to be when it comes to approaching education and their passion.
Yeah, I think education is broken right now as far, and I can only speak from a Western standpoint of what higher ed, college, university looks like here in the States. I personally didn't even go to college, so I'm not even the best firsthand source. But I know a lot of people who did, and that's when I really made my decision of I'm not going to go to higher ed university because I talked to so many people, especially so many entrepreneurs. Going back to my point of when I was 17 to 18, I was just trying to get connected with as many people as possible, and just talking to people of, hey, did you go to college? Yes, yes or no, and why'd you make that decision and everything. And majority of the entrepreneurs I talked to, they either went to college and said it was a complete waste of time, or they just straight up didn't go. So I knew that if you're intrinsically motivated and you can learn on your own, then you don't need college. Some people need that structure, and that's completely fine. There's no right or wrong answer. But I think when it comes to just looking at the ecosystem as a whole, we put so much, we as in the system of education, the current education system right now, we put so much pressure on 17, 18-year-olds to make one decision that shapes their whole life or is supposed to shape their whole life. And that's completely ridiculous. That it doesn't, the system doesn't allow fluidity and flexibility and the ability to fail and test and try different things without putting $50,000 worth of debt in your pocket at the end of the day, or taking that out of your pocket, if you will. So I think it's just a crazy system that we're in right now, and we're a long ways away from it being completely changed. But yeah, it's broken. It lacks freedom, it lacks fluidity, and that's the exact opposite of what the world is going to. We're going to a world that's more decentralized than ever, not to loop in like blockchain and cryptocurrency talk into this, but decentralized as in giving power to the individual. Like, we have more power, we have more freedom than we've ever had before. But that's not reflected in the traditional school system. So we're definitely going to see change in the next few years, especially with the pandemic and COVID kind of accelerating that change, hopefully.
Yeah. And I mean, what's important is that you weren't like thinking the same way like almost all the other people or colleagues were, and you didn't like choose to go to the college and just follow like a scripted life. You have to do this, and then you have to go to uni, and then you have to have a job, a pension. Yeah, you know the drill. But I'm curious, what do you see yourself doing in like, you call it like 2 years, 5 years, 10 years? I mean, would you still want to continue with the media agency, or would you want to do something else?
Yeah, I'll probably be retired. I'm pretty much almost retired right now, and I say retired like obviously halfway joking, but right now I've been able to build my business, just utilizing way smarter people than me, and I have just such an amazing team around me that I'm not affiliated with the day-to-day process too much anymore. I really almost act as a high level like advisor role, and like, I don't even know how to describe it, but my hand isn't in the day-to-day process too much. That's completely outsourced from myself doing it to my team, which leaves me in an interesting position because I'm realistically only need to work 2 to 3 hours a week to make sure the business isn't on fire. It's still growing, just because I've spent the past 12 months really building this out for this model to work and productizing this model. So it puts me in a unique position where I can open up and test different things and travel more and just work on problems I want to solve and really push humanity forward. So it'll definitely be centered around building a life around sustainability, giving more underserved communities opportunities to grow and get tapped into entrepreneurship and business and creation and influencers and such, all while traveling and running remote businesses. So I know that wasn't super specific, but we have a few things cooked up in the pipeline that I'll announce pretty soon. But yeah, everything's going to be centered around diversity, sustainability, pushing humanity forward, and then running online, fairly automated businesses in the meantime, and traveling.
I love the way you portrayed it, because like a lot of people are just saying that they want to do, like when we ask them this question, mostly they say that they want to do something like specific. And I loved how you said that, of course, besides the thing that you're gonna do something like with all this entrepreneurial life, you're also gonna enjoy life itself as well, and you're gonna go and like develop yourself as a person and travel and all that. So yeah, my acknowledgement for that.
Yeah, I think it's crazy that people just focus on work.
Yeah.
I've been there. I've done that. Relationships have suffered around me, personal, family, girlfriend, everything. It fucking sucks. And I learned that I'm grateful enough that I've learned that at a very young age that I was putting in 80, 100-hour weeks with school and work combined, pretty much my whole senior year of high school. And it was ridiculous with just everything going on. And I was really getting burnt out, especially at like 1 year removed from high school in like 2019. I was just working so many hours and it just wasn't enjoyable to me. And I realized from that point forward, it's like, I'm not gonna try to be the Elons and Bezos and even like Gary V's of the world. That's not me. I'm myself, and I'm gonna figure out how to pave my own way and live life how I want to do it. I would hate to I love Elon. Elon's my favorite entrepreneur, inventor of all time. I look up to him. He's a huge reason why I fell in love with entrepreneurship in the first place. But I would not trade places with him. He has an insane life, and he gets put on a pedestal, which he should, and he's doing amazing things with the support he's had from his circle around him. But at the end of the day, 99.999 repeating percent of people could not do what he's doing. And we really see that as a result because he's the first person to do a lot of these things. But same with Bezos, same with Jobs and Gary. People want to be them so bad when in reality, like, they need to sit down and really ask themselves, do you really, really want this? For me, I want to be able to be completely financially free, meaning like my income is more than my expenses, and I don't need to work for that money. In a sense, I don't need to trade my physical time for that money. I don't need to clock in for a 40-hour a week. I can check in 2 hours a week on my business pays for my expenses, and I get to travel. I get to snowboard. I get to live on a beach. I get to do what I want to do. I get to connect with amazing entrepreneurs and focus on problems I want to solve, just for the reason of me wanting to solve the problems and not having to chase money, chase income. Like, that to me is a cool life. That's a sustainable life for me. And that's what I want. And it's taken me not a while, because again, everything we're talking about has happened fairly quickly in the past 3-4 years. But I really realized, like, I don't want to be Gary Vee. I don't want to be Elon. I want to be just myself, and I'll figure out what that means as life goes on. But I'm going to do what I enjoy. And right now I enjoy running a remote business, snowboarding, traveling, and connecting with cool people.
I really like the point that you highlighted, that this is what works for you and this is what makes you happy. Because what we tend to do when we look up to those Elons and Jeff Bezos and Gary Vee, and I can definitely relate to that myself, trying to be like them is you are basically emulating their behavior and you're trying, because you can't, but you are just trying to emulate their mindset and their behavior and their, I guess, ideas, when in fact what you're doing is just trying to be like them, which is not really, first and foremost, is not sustainable, and second, it's only going to lead you to burnout. And I've been there myself. But I wanted to dive a bit more, I guess, deep with how you actually understood this? How did you make the difference between, okay, you are working 14 hours a day, and you thought that work was everything there is in life, and you were just trying to make money and all that, and suddenly you just realize that, hold on a second, it does have to be like that. I can work smarter. I don't necessarily have to trade my whole entire time for this amount of money. How did you make that switch? And I guess it was quite difficult, because at the time you were identifying yourself with the work that you were doing, right?
Yeah, it's super interesting, and it whenever you're starting something, and I'll obviously use business for this example because it just resonates most with me, and that's what I can speak on. Like, you need to put in ridiculous hours at some point to start it, to lift it off the ground. Again, lift off is the hardest thing when it comes to starting a business. But once you can just put sheer amount of hours in and just get your reps in, then you start learning, okay, what are ways I could delegate a lot of these tasks to people that are better at those tasks than me? And then that frees up my time to do other things, X, Y, and Z. And then just kind of keep repeating that process. So it's definitely been a crazy journey the past 3-4 years to get to a point where I am today. Honestly, I don't have a super good, quick answer for that. It's like getting your reps in, learning every in and outs of your business, where you want to go, and then slowly start building a team around you, if that's what you want to do. That's the key part. Having team members and payroll, and needing to pay for other people and support other people to put food on their plates, to pay for their rent. It's a whole nother can of worms to open. Like, there's so many days where I wish I could just go back to just solopreneur, just myself. I'm only responsible for myself, and make sure I can eat and put food on my table instead of having a team. But if you're okay handling that risk and handling those responsibilities, then it's an amazing, beautiful thing. And I think a lot of people are scared to take that step. And again, you can always take that step and then kind of backstep and go back to that. But I think at the end of the day, it takes time. Learn your business and learn where you want to go, and just start slowly building a team around you, identify what you're best at, and then focus on that, and then delegate everything else. That's the process I've pretty much been working on. I want to handle content creation and just connecting with cool humans. That's all I want to do. So naturally, I'm going to find other people better than me at sales calls and operations and payroll and finance and all of the nuances that come with starting a business and scaling a business. I'm going to find better people than me at those, and it's going to make everyone's life so much easier.
Yeah, that definitely
Amazing.
answered the question.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that. And just changing a little bit the subject, I'm just gonna ask you, what experience are you the most grateful for so far?
I love that. Oh, the experience that I am most grateful for. It was my first client in September of 2018. A connection here in my hometown. His name's Joe. And Joe and I we're connected for a little bit. He runs kind of like a entrepreneurial accelerator for like college aged kids. So I was kind of one of the only high school students that did that program, and he really helped me kind of get tapped into more entrepreneurship and startup world. But he turned it into my first client, and without him, I don't think I would have ever started a video company. And it literally changed every single aspect about my life going forward. So that's I think the experience that I'm most grateful about to this date when it comes to entrepreneurship and business and just life-changing moments in that sense. One connection can do it. You are one single connection, one single opportunity away from changing your life. I think a lot of people think it's so far out. It's, hey, I'm not a multimillionaire yet. Oh no, I'm so far behind, when in reality, you are one connection away from changing your life. And if you go into life like that every single day, think about how many opportunities and how many moments there are in your day-to-day that can literally change your life. You literally never know when when those opportunities are gonna connect and kind of cross your life. So always be open for that. Always be ready for those.
Mm-hmm. And you can also never know how that one opportunity that at a time seems like just another conversation or just another project might actually reveal itself to become so transformational within a year, 2 years, 5 years period as it's been for you. Because at a time, I'm guessing for you wasn't that huge of a deal. Like, of course, you got to know that person and all that, and you've been able to like make some realizations about where to take your business, but you didn't see it as such a big life-changing moment. But speaking of life-changing things, I would want to, Sam, if you could give our audience three actionable tips that they can they can implement in their daily life to become happier and more fulfilled.
Start a gratitude notebook.
Mm-hmm.
Every day, write down 3 to 10 things you're grateful for. And if you do that one simple thing, do it every single day, maybe every day and every night, whatever it is, whatever works for you, write down things you're grateful for. It's so easy to go blindly through life when you don't take a moment to realize life in itself is a blessing and something to be grateful for. So definitely do that. If you've listened to this point and haven't resonated with anything else, resonate with that. Try resonating with that. Right. Keep a gratitude notebook. That's what I got.
Awesome.
Would you say that your life has sorry to interrupt? Would you say that your life has changed since you started doing this?
100%. I don't even know when I started. It was fairly recently, within the past 2 years, 2.5, 3 years, maybe. There's no like point in time when I'm like, oh, this is the start of my gratitude journey. But it's one of those things where it just happens over time. And as you build that muscle, you just go through life being so much more present with every conversation you're having, every person you talk to, and the time you spend with the closest people around you. That's one of the most important things too. Just be grateful for that. So I've definitely seen it change my life.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I came across a very interesting, I guess, perspective upon how to basically learn to be more grateful. And that was something like you have to train yourself to want the things that you already have. So basically, you have to have a desire for a thing that's already in your possession or already in your own experience or knowledge or, I guess, close understanding. And that's basically how you get to learn about gratitude and how to be grateful. And I think for a lot of people that try it, it's like with everything. It's like with meditation. It's like with starting a business. When they try it for like a couple of days, couple of times, and like nothing happens. It seems like very dull, very boring, very repetitive, and they just leave it. But what I always, both me and Bogdan always preach on the podcast is there's no point in really trying to, I guess, write things you're grateful for if you're not truly feeling those things. Like just saying that you're grateful for this and that without actually feeling it is more or less pointless. It doesn't really do the necessary changes in your subconscious mind.
Yeah, I totally agree. I'll also push back on that. If you're starting from scratch, even just writing it down is the first step. Obviously, we don't want to just write down anything of, oh, I'm grateful for this, when in reality, the next moment you go out and complain about that exact thing. Oh, I'm grateful to have a car. Then you walk out to your car. All right, this car's a piece of shit. I wish I had another one. Like, all right, come on. Obviously, writing it down is important, but you hit the nail on the head. Like you obviously need to feel that and actually be grateful for it. Don't do it just to write down something you're grateful for to check a box. But yeah, I agree.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Sam, you were speaking about, I guess, your future plans with like building a more sustainable lifestyle around your business and everything. But I would really want to dive deeper and actually understand your purpose. And that's why I'm actually going to ask you, what do you want to be remembered for or as?
I want to be remembered as a good human being. And really, that's it. What do I want to be remembered for? Being a good human being. That's a great question. No, I really want to be looked at as someone who obviously leads with kindness, but also pushes humanity forward. Like I feel like I like Gary's doing an amazing job at that, but like we see like Steve Jobs was an asshole. He was a dick to people and just didn't treat other humans kindly. Was he innovative and a great leader and one of the best inventors of our time? Absolutely. And obviously his work shows for it. And has he created the most powerful brand in the world? Absolutely. But with that being said, I want to treat other humans kindly and how I'd like to be treated. So I think just leading with kindness, never being above anyone else. And we see the hierarchy of entrepreneurship and business leaders and influencers and such just get super disconnected from reality. And it's like they don't treat other human beings like humans. So really push that narrative, invest in people, invest in the planet, and push humanity forward. And that's going to look different as I mature, as I grow, as I learn more. That definition of pushing humanity forward is gonna change as different problems pop up and such. As we go through life. But that's what it's really comes down to. I want to treat humans kindly and push humanity forward.
Really
if I can do those, if I can work on doing both of those, it's never just an end goal of, all right, I checked the box, I pushed humanity forward and my work here is done. It's a constant mission. And I think that's the beauty in itself, that I don't have a set goal of, hey, I want to make $100 billion in my lifetime, and once I do that, my mission is complete. It's like, no, it's ongoing. You need to be in love with whatever you're doing, and the journey of that, as cliche as it sounds, it's true. So if you just fall in love with the process of doing these things, then you're in a really solid spot.
Really love your answer.
I want to challenge you, because obviously you said that it's an ongoing thing and a consistent thing that you see yourself doing throughout your life. But with that said, if you had the, I guess, chance of becoming immortal, would you choose to be? And if so, why?
Yes.
And if not, why?
Yes. Yes, I would become immortal tomorrow or today. I would also go to Mars today because it pushes humanity forward. It pushes technology forward. And that's something that I think immortality will be solved at a super, super select high level in our lifetime. And I would love to maybe not be the first guinea pig, but I'm definitely an early adopter into technology and trends and everything. So that's something I would love to do. Yeah, it would be super hard and sad to see everyone around you die and live longer than them. That's something I can't even comprehend. And most people can't comprehend and wrap their head around. But I think it would allow me to focus on stuff bigger than myself. And once you, again, I'm not even going to pretend to know that feeling of what that would be or what I would do. But short answer, yes, I would choose to be immortal if I could, because I can then focus on really pushing the human race forward.
Would you say that, would you still have the willpower and the same like attitude to actually go forward when you know that you have like unlimited time to do it?
Yeah, that's so tough. Like, are we talking like I'm the next superheroes even die? I don't know. Like it's such a abstract concept that it's hard, because I have no idea how it would affect my reality, how it would affect my mental capacity of, all right, if again, it's a perfect example of, if a homework assignment is due in 2 months from now, there's no way in hell you're doing it right now. You're doing it 2 months from now. So that's a great question. I don't know if that would, if I have unlimited time, if that would affect my push and I guess hunger to change the world. And I think it obviously would, but it would, again, it's not like we're battling. It's hard because we have a finite amount of time to save the planet, to save humanity. So the clock's already ticking whether we die or not. So I think the pressure would definitely be on, and it would definitely, I think, make you even hungrier to change the world. And I don't think having this concept of having unlimited time is a thing, because it's not unlimited. The earth isn't going to be around here forever, and we're pretty damn close to blowing it up ourselves. So yeah, it's a great question. Don't have a great answer for it, but those are my thoughts.
I mean, there's no wrong answer, but
Yeah.
but yeah, I really love how you portrayed it. And you said earlier that you want to be remembered as a very good, like, human being person. And I'm curious now, what would you change about yourself? Like something that maybe stays in your way, or maybe something that you don't like. I don't know how you treat other people, or something similar. What would you change
Uh,
about yourself?
Nothing. I love myself.
Really nice.
I
So
don't know what I would change. I'm just focused on the things I love about myself and always being better, and always evolving. So I don't know.
so
What would I
you
change about? Yeah, I don't know.
would you would you say that you tend not to focus on your weak like personality traits or that, or you just want to like ignore them because I mean, I mean it's obvious that we all, like you said, have some of these things that we are not as good as we want to. For example, you said that you have someone who maybe is better at sales than you, and someone who is better than, I don't know, appointment scheduling. So would you say that you would just ignore this, or you just don't like think about it?
Yeah, I don't think you ignore it. Ignoring anything doesn't help. Um, but you adapt. You grow, and I think if again, that you stumped me. These are fantastic questions. Pat yourselves on the back. I love this. I don't know. It's let's say sales, for example, and I want to be the best salesman in the world. And I'm not right now. That's pretty obvious. Like, do I wish I was better at sales? Maybe. I guess, but I don't really. I don't wish I was
Mm.
better at you can wish you're better at everything. Yes, I wish I was a super genius in every single capacity known to man. That's pretty simple, but I'm a
Yeah.
few steps away from that right now. um, and there's nothing like that sticks out to like, oh, I wish I could fix this about myself or this about myself, because it's life in itself is such a mental game
Mm.
that any insecurity you have, any I guess any even skill you have, it's all rooted in your mindset of like, yo, if I wrap my whole identity around how many deals I can close, then I'm going to be in a pretty vulnerable space, and I'm probably not going to be the happiest if I don't go out and close some deals. So that's why I guess I'm just so like free flowing of like, yo, I'm going to go through life. This is what I got. This is the body I have.
Mm.
I can mold it and shape it and bend my mindset to fit where I want. But at the end of the day, like, I'm myself. I'm going to focus on trying to love every aspect of myself, because there's
Hey guys, I gotta say that we are missing about 15 seconds of content right here as my phone started ringing mid-recording, so I'm really sorry about that, but we are leaning towards the end of this podcast episode, and if you've enjoyed it so far, we'd be more than grateful if you could take a screenshot of your app right now and post it on IG, tagging us at Grateful Show, and also tagging Sam at SamXLister. You can find his handle in the description below, and we'll not only reshare your story, but with your help, we will be able to spread our message and reach more people. Thank you a lot, and back to the podcast.
by no means am I a perfect human being. That's not even a thing. But yeah, there's a lot of things I would like to improve on, but there's nothing I would change.
Yeah, I love how you portrayed that. Like you said, like earlier, there's like literally you can get better at anything in life, but you got to be grateful for who you are and love who you are, and obviously like improve at those things that you would want to like pursue, and you know that would make yourself like a better person, or like gain the financial freedom or whatever you want to do in your life. But talking about this and about how subjective everything is, I'm just curious, what would you say that is the meaning of life, even though like it's extremely subjective?
The meaning of life: gain skills and knowledge to be able to make other people's lives better. so you could be of service to other people. I think that's really what it is. And a lot of people struggle with that. I struggle with it every day. But to really push humanity forward and push civilization, push other people forward, it's you being selfish. It's you gaining as much skill and knowledge as possible. So then you can help more people along the way. I think that's what it comes down to.
I like the fact that you mentioned that you have to be selfish, yet at the same time you are preaching how you have to help other people and help move humanity forward. Can you explain that concept of actually having to be selfish in the first place for the audience?
Yeah. If you're going down on a plane and you're trying to help everyone on the plane without your own oxygen mask on, you're not going to help too many people because you're going to die pretty quick. But if you can put your own oxygen mask on first, then you have a way better chance of helping more people in the process. I think it's super simple. You need to love yourself. You need to prioritize yourself in every single fucking situation in your life. Yourself first, and then anyone else. I don't care if it's girlfriend, mom, dad, brother, sister, business partner. It's yourself. And then in that, then you can help more people along the way.
Fair enough. I mean, just like
again, you're walking on a fine line between like, yo, are you a crazy egotistical narcissist versus like, okay, I know when it's time to invest in other people, treat other people fairly. Like, just because you're investing in yourself doesn't mean you don't treat other people fairly and you invest in other people around you. That is absolutely not what I'm saying. But I'm just saying when it comes down to it, like, you need to be good. At the end of the day, you need to be good. You need to love yourself, and then you can love other people and help more people out.
Yeah.
Don't be an egotistical narcissist.
That balance, yeah, like that equilibrium between knowing when to be how, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Just changing a little bit the subject because I'm really curious. Would you say that being rich is something selfish? Or not necessarily?
Like being rich?
Like having a lot of money. Would you consider like having a lot of money as something selfish or not?
Depends what you do with it. That's what it comes down to. Are you using your money to invest in other people, your business to help other people? And there's a lot of people that make $40,000 a year that is way more, I guess, selfish with their money than someone making a few $1 million a year. Like that person who makes a few $1 million a year has the ability to give way more from a monetary standpoint than someone who makes $30,000 or $40,000 a year. So, but again, there's a bunch of millionaires that don't spend a dime on anything else besides bettering themselves and their own business for personal greed. And I think that's where the line gets a little blurry of, okay, is money selfish? Having money in itself is not selfish. Money is not a negative or positive thing. It's simply neutral. There's no charge to money. It's just our relationship with it. So I think it comes down to it's so personal by case to case, person to person basis of is having money selfish? Yeah, if you don't do anything with it and you just hold on to everything. But the amount of money doesn't reflect that. It's your actions of what you do with them.
Definitely. We had one guest in the past on a podcast, and he's put it very interestingly. And he said, like, look, no matter how much you're trying to save the world, there's only so much impact you can make with $100, and a whole different of impact you can do with like 10 million or $100 million.
Yeah, absolutely. Money talks. And that's just, it's it. Sometimes you need to play the game. Sometimes you don't. And like, someone's going to go get the money. So why not you? That's what I love. Because we have the freedom and opportunities to do that with the resources we have in the world. And obviously everyone grows up in different situations, different towns, different skill sets, different everything. There's 8 billion people on the planet. There's 8 billion different lives on the planet. So obviously you're going to grow up differently than the person next to you. But at the end of the day, people will get the money. Someone will get the money. I think it's a better life if you go out and get the money so you can do whatever you want with it. If you want to give it all away in your life, awesome. Give it all away in your life. If you want to hoard it and buy a few Ferraris and Lambos, awesome. Do that. Someone's going to go get the money. You go get the money and do what you want with it. I think that's what it comes down to.
Yeah,
Definitely.
amazing. Sam, it's been like an absolute pleasure, and we got to be aware of your time and our audience time. So we're just gonna ask you the last question of the show. So just take your time if you need to with it. So it goes like this: imagine that you are on your deathbed, so like you're about to die, but right next to you there is the best version of yourself looking at you. You see and comprehend what you could have become. So how would you feel about yourself and about like your whole life in that specific moment?
Damn. Good shit. That's not what I think. That's my reaction to that question. That's you guys are good. Laying on my deathbed, best ghost version next to me of haunted Sam of I'm your full potential almost. I'd feel regret if that's not a mirror image of myself laying in my deathbed, and if I could see myself having so much more potential and impact on the world than what I left the world with, I would feel regret. And that's a common theme that I try to strive for every day of like, if this is your last day, like make it count. Obviously life happens. I'm human.
Yeah.
You guys are humans. Like it's hard to do that because there's so many complexities of life and so many little things that can throw you off. But at the end of the day, like regret is my biggest fear, like to die filled with regret of, damn, I could have pushed more. I could have made more impact. I could have hung around with my family more. I could have done so much more in life. So it's scary thinking about that. But it's something that, again, going back to just being grateful every single day. You never know when you're going to die, which is death is a whole nother can of worms to open on a later date. But yeah, sitting in my deathbed and seeing the full potential of Sam next to me. It'd be a mixed emotions of happiness, but also sadness and regret of knowing, hey, I could have left more on the line than what I did in this little fragile life of mine.
I think it's inevitable, and I have to acknowledge you for being probably one of the very few guests that has actually recognized the fact that no matter how much you're going to push and strive for, there's always going to be that tiny bit of regret. Because obviously we had guests that like to think of the fact that they're going to see themselves in the mirror and everything is going to be brilliant and they've strived for the best and they've got the best. But obviously we have to face the reality and the fact that inevitably we raise the bar higher and higher, and there's always room for more and room for better and room for a better version of ourselves. But with that said, it's been an absolute pleasure. I've learned a lot. Hopefully the audience has got a lot of value out of the conversation that we just had. And before wrapping up, Sam, I would want to give you the opportunity to step on the red carpet and tell our audience where they can find you, how they can connect with yourself, and what it is that you do.
A, thank you guys for having me on. B, if you're not subscribed, subscribe and leave a review on this podcast because it's been literally amazing. It's been one of the best podcasts I've been on probably ever. I love the questions you guys ask. So again, want to give you guys a huge shout out. Again, follow them everywhere if you're not already following. You can find me on just social media anywhere at Sam X Lister, Lister, really on any platform, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, YouTube, you name it. So that's a little bit about me. Again, thanks for having me on, and be grateful.
Awesome. Thank you very much. This has been Pascu.
This is Bogdan, and you guys stay grateful. Take care.
Thank you so much for sticking all the way till the end. This shows that you are serious about taking your life to the next level and doing that through a perspective of gratitude. If you enjoyed this interview, it would help us massively if you could give us a 5-star rating review on iTunes, or else share this on your stories and tag us. This way, with your help, our message will be seen by more people, and together we will make this world a better place.